Yes! There we go. The technical difficulties have been squandered. How are we, everybody? Hello and welcome back, foolish mortals, to another random live stream. It's Saturday. We've got a beverage, and it's great to see you all. How is everybody doing? Let's say hi to some of you guys in the chat. Object Star was the first one in. What's up, Object Star? How you doing? Puppy Queen of Gasha, what's up? Puppy here early. Cloudy J, yes, I am here. Lefty Bear, we got members up in the building already. What's up, Lefty? Hope you're doing well, my brother. Let's go. Abyss, as per usual, I won't be able to show up for you. Hey, don't worry, Abyss. We're going to be here for a couple hours anyway because we got work to do today. Trust me, little one. Runaway Cobra, rip a bit, yeah, rip. Yeah, but yeah, hello Runaway Cobra, how are you? What's up, KR, how are you doing? Iris Moth, hello there. Derek Langley, we got competition winners in the building as well. Kit Kat Catsy, yeah, you made it. It's great to see you, what's up? Hello, let's do this thing indeed. So, just a quick vocal check. Let me know if you guys can hear me, you know, if it's coming across loud and clear. You should also be able to hear the background music as well. I've got the Little Nightmares OST playing by the legendary composer Tobias Lilia to accompany our thoughts over the course of this evening. So let me know if the sound is okay. Let's see where we're at. Chris, hello there. Screebles, hey, we are live right now. Right now, Screebles, we are up and we are running. I apologise that I was a little bit late. I've been away for a while. And I had to do a couple of updates and things like that on the PC. And OBS just decided today was not a streaming day. And I said, well, how about... I can't say that live. But you know what I thought. You know what I thought. You know my feelings on the matter. And I was raging. But it's okay. We're back. We're here. And we are ready to rumble. It's time, yes. Bloodcore, hey! Can't be at this stream today because I got stuff to do, but I'll definitely watch it. But hey, no worries, my brother. That's what the VOD is for. It's absolutely fine. It's a shame you can't be here, though, because you had some really good input last time you were here. But either way, it's all good. Hello, I heard giggling. That wasn't giggling. That was my menacing, evil laugh. You should be intimidated and afraid. How are you doing, Chris? I hope you're well. Andrew, good guy. Hello to you. How are you doing? Rowdy Rex, once again, we dive into the Norway's greatest host, the streamer. All right, that's a great concept. Straight away, we've got a concept, because that is actually what we're going to be doing today. I am going to be reading as many of your comments as I can get to and addressing them in real time, as is the usual with these kind of streams, at least to the best of my ability. But also, we're going to be doing some brainstorming, because I, along with you guys, today, hopefully, are going to come up with an entirely new Little Nightmares concept. So we're going to try and create a resident, we're going to try and create an environment for them to inhabit, and we're going to try and create a hero of that story, a visitor of the nowhere. And we're going to try and like conceptualize those things, at least in our heads, and then once we've all come to like a pretty clear consensus of what it's going to look like, I'm going to try and have that made into something kind of special so that you guys can see your work put in an upcoming video. What do you think of that? Do you think that's a good idea? Because I do. Because I really like all of your concepts and your input, and I think you've all got some fascinating thoughts and theories and observations when it comes to the Little Nightmares universe. But I don't often get to see them put them into practice unless you happen to be an artist, like a lot of you guys are. Once again, yes, once again indeed. Sorry, I read that one already, Rowdy Rex. Hey, I missed you guys too, Catsy, don't you worry. It's been nice to get away for a little while, don't get me wrong. It's always good to take a break, but it is really nice to be back in the chair. Idiotic Bookworm, hey, how you doing? Another winner in the building. How are you? Hope you're doing well. Early for a stream. Yeah, I know. You've actually got in early for once, so we're not locking up this time. Nintendo Gamer Kid, how's it going? It's going very well, Gamer Kid. Really well indeed. How are you? I hope you're doing well. Ladies and gentlemen, the notorious Bass. This guy in residence. Are they evil? Very much so. Very much so. In fact, I might have to hire you to get rid of them because that seems to be your specialty, does it not? Mr. Notorious Bass in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Legendary YouTubers up in here as well. What an honor and a privilege it is. Audio's fine, that's good to hear. Really good to hear. Resident Evil X Little Nightmares would go so hard if they did a Lady Demitrescu chapter. She would be absolutely... yeah, she'd absolutely work in a Little Nightmares world. She's so disproportionate, isn't she? She's so massive that she makes even your main character, Ethan Winters, feel diminutive by stature. Yeah, that would actually work. Somebody should mod that. Somebody should make the Lady Demitrescu. What's up, Puppy Queen? I've been great. Doing really, really well. You probably heard. You sure they're a hero? Who? Who's a hero? Did I just forget what I already said? I probably did. Yes, in fact. No, I think I know what you mean, and there probably won't be a hero. Because some of the concepts I've come up with as far as visitors go, they're not necessarily heroes. Look at Six, for instance. Would you call her a hero? I would. I don't think Six is a bit. She's my favourite character. Also, forgive my wet hair. I'm fresh off a haircut. I literally just got back, had a shave and a haircut. And then as soon as I showered, I came here and I'm like, right, stream prep. And stream prep takes forever. And there's obviously technical difficulties as well. So, orcs. But, Randy Brex, really, I was making a joke for the stream part, but maybe it could be based on... Yeah, exactly, right? I would actually love to see a visitor based on me, and I wouldn't be offended by how hideous it was either. Like, I would want you to give it, like, really jagged, nasty teeth or something, you know? I'd want it to look hideous. I think it would be brilliant. Katsy, I want to see all of your work. Like, if you decide to draw any of the concepts that we come up with in this stream, I would absolutely love to see them because your work is phenomenal. Heaven Robinson made it. Hey, what's up? I didn't think you were going to make it today, but I'm really glad you could. What's up, Heaven? Hope you're doing well. Little Nightmares theories are actually out of the picture lately. You know what? They have been. They actually have been. And that's why I'm thinking of changing things up a little bit. Because as good as theories are and as much fun as they are, we're limited because we only have a limited supply of lore to draw from. Something I find myself doing when I'm coming up with theories is headcanon. So I tend to come up with something that makes sense to me. And then I can, you know, conceptualize it. I can write a script and I can put it into a story that then will make sense to you because I'm able to tie a bunch of things together throughout it. And it's kind of cool. And that's actually what we're going to be doing today. So we're not necessarily theorizing. Feel free to, because obviously if we can come up with any theories and get the old cogs turning, then we're totally going to do that because it's always fun. But today is more about creating a new Little Nightmare. So we're going to try and create a new concept for like a new environment, a new monster, a new visitor, and even think about some of the puzzles and traps and, you know, some of the ideologies behind it as well. And then not at the end of today's stream, but over the course of the next couple of months, I'm going to try and make that into a real life concept so that you guys can watch it back. And I think that'll be pretty cool. Yo, what's up, Cloudy J with a donut up in here? Thank you so much. You deserve it. Glad to always see you live. It's always I always stumble over my thanks when I'm really grateful. Thank you, Cloudy J. You really didn't have to do that, but I very, very much appreciate it. Also, that's our first donation of the day, and that goes towards the 1 of 10. Now, you'll notice that there is a goal set up there. You do not have to feel obliged to do it. It's just a little way for me to raise a bit of extra money towards good causes. That good cause being my mum. I won't go into the details of it just yet. But just know that all of your donations are gratefully received, and they are donated to my mum, who is currently struggling. And so, like I say, I'm not going to go too much into it because I don't want to get upset too early in the stream. You can see me cry later, but for now, let's stick to it. But if we do hit that goal, I'll be revealing something very secret. It's something I've been working on for a while, and I'm really, really proud of it, and I can't wait to share it with you guys. And you will get to see it eventually, so if you can't donate, don't worry. It's not like you're going to miss out on this concept. It's just kind of an early reveal for those of you who are here now. That's all it is. Thank you, Cloudy J. I really, really appreciate that, Dono. Very kind of you indeed. Can we make our new hero autistic? Absolutely. We absolutely can. That hero could be that hero can be strong with the tism, one with the tism even. 100% you can make your hero autistic. Or at least it can come up in. You know what? I think some of the characters that we get in Little Nightmares, they actually could be, because they're supposed to be the idea of the visitors in the nowhere that we've taken control of so far are supposed to be reflections of ourselves. So that's the reason they don't necessarily have their own voices, and they cover their faces, and their actions like mirror our actions, because we're in total control of everything that they do to a degree as far as gameplay goes. If you don't include the narrative, cutscenes and what have you. But if you guys happen to be autistic, and a lot of you are, I am, and if you project some of your autistic qualities or personality onto that character, they then become an autistic person. So yeah, there's no reason we can't make the new character autistic on some level. Scrat calls the terraforming in the Pale City is canon and everything I say. You know what, Andrew? I believe that coming from you, because you are the Scrat man. Have a good idea. You have a couple of good concept ideas already, do you, Catsy? I would love to hear them. Iris Moth has said, how about a level set in an abandoned theatre with an actress who desperately wants to return to stardom at any cost? We could also have an audience as secondary enemies. I really like that. That's really cool. In fact, the music captive audience from the school in Little Nightmares 2 has given me an idea of that before, where it would literally be a captive audience. So there would be like an audience in a theatre kind of thing, and they would be like literally strapped to or like warped into the chairs in some way. Sort of like they've been sat in the chairs for so long that their bodies have like melded with it in a way. That's really cool, Iris Moth. I like that a lot. So let's actually start writing some of these things down. So I'm just going to copy this. Now, you guys won't be able to see what I'm doing on my screen right now, so I'm going to change this display up. Forgive me 1 second. And there we go. So hopefully you can still hear the music, but you'll be able to see your wonderful faces. You'll also be able to see the Little Nightmares 2 digital art book, and you'll be able to see my notes here that say Little Nightmares Brainstorm Live, and I'm going to paste in this, which is Iris Moth's comment right there. How about a level set in an abandoned theatre? That is a concept right there. I also have a paint document open, so because obviously if there's any pictures or anything or images that we want to use as references, or points to recall while we're conceptualizing these characters and ideas, then I'm going to paste them into here so that we don't forget, because obviously there's going to be a lot of ideas thrown around in this stream, and I'm not going to be able to remember them all, and that's why we're here going to be taking notes and things like that, and we're going to try and pick it apart and like conceptualize it into a finished piece towards the end of the stream. But for now, I'm going to go back to your comments. Had to do it, spreading the love. I really appreciate you spreading the love there, Cloudy J. That's really, really kind of you, because that's what it's all about. It is about spreading positivity. I had a really nice conversation with a wonderful gentleman in the gym earlier today, and when he asked what's my favourite thing about what I do, it's this. It's being a part of bringing together this community. I really like having a channel that is the foundation for you guys coming together and being really positive like this. It's absolutely brilliant to see you all coming together on a concept that we all know and love. And it's really nice, and I got a lot of positive feedback for him. Brilliant. Jetty Spaghetti is in the building. Everyone bow. Everyone bow to my guardian angel, Jetty Spaghetti. How are you? Where's Midnight Walk? It's coming. Don't you worry. I've got it on. That it's in the noggin. Don't you worry, Jet. I haven't forgotten about it. I will be playing the Midnight Walk on the channel, specially for you. Even if you're the only person that watches it, I'm going to play that game. It actually looks dope anyway, and I'm really interested to play it. But Jet specifically requested that I play Midnight Walk, and I am absolutely, totally, 100% game for that. What do you guys think? Have Scrat as the main character. 6 is my baby. Is she a hero? Debatable, but she's definitely has main character aura. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. She's my feral gremlin child and I love her. Yeah, she is. She is the world's most dangerous Dorito. Also, I've just realized that I am not on camera. There you go. I did bow to Jet, by the way. I actually did it in real life. I just didn't realize my camera was off. But yo, I'm back. I'm a professional. Don't debate me. I know what I'm doing. Oh, thank you, Cloudy J. Really appreciate your support. And so does my mum. My mum actually said to me last time to give everybody a big hug. And I'm not going to do that. but I am going to thank you from the bottom of my heart, because that is something I can do. I'm a contact-free person. Like, yeah, people are like, oh, give me a hug. And I'm like, don't touch me. I'm a very non-contact person. But my mum wants to give all of you a hug. So thank you all very much. Because I show her, you see, because obviously I give her the donations when they come through, because obviously you guys make your generous donations, and then about a month later YouTube actually pays me. And then when YouTube pay me, I go home and I go back to my mum's house, and I give her the money. And I tell her where it came from, and I show her all of the nice things that you said and all of the kind supportive comments that you said to her. And because my mum isn't in a position where she can write back or anything like that, she's just like, make sure you say thank you and make sure you mean it. And I'm like, I do, ma. I promise you, ma. I promise you. Like, it's all the love in the world. Look, and she reads your comments, and it's very, very nice. So she wants you to know that she's grateful. Where are we? Let's see. Oh, sorry, I've lost a little bit. Allison29, look at you go. That's what we're talking about. Proud of you. Thank you so much. Oh, that's really kind of you. Allison29, big massive W's in the chat. In fact, everybody can give Allison a great big hug. Don't hug me. Don't hug me, but you can hug Allison from me. Hug Allison and hug Cloudy J. Thank you guys so much. I'm on my feet right now. Sorry, I'm trying to get comfortable. Usually I wear like comfortable slippers. I've got like these really soft slippers, and they're in the wash right now, and it sucks because my feet are cold. So that's why I'm fidgeting. But thank you so much. I'm just gonna scroll up and read these comments here. How long ago did this live start? About 15 minutes, 20 minutes, or almost 20 minutes ago. So don't worry, Barkpaw. You're not late at all. Gabriel Jones, thank you for creating Little Nightmares content. You're greatly appreciated. You're greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for being here, because without my core audience and my foundation, that's you guys, I wouldn't have any reason to create this content. You know, if nobody enjoyed what I do, why would I bother doing it? But the fact that I get to do something I love and you guys enjoy it, that is the ultimate win for me. So thank you, Gabriel Jones. How close are we to getting to the next dono goal? Well, it doesn't actually matter how much there's going to be. The goal is set to 10. Now that can be, like, that's just 10 donations, but it's 10, I haven't set an amount because I don't care. I don't care if you donate $1 or $1,000. I mean, I do, obviously, but it doesn't matter. I will still be grateful, and it won't make a difference. So, like, if you donate $1,000 or if you donate $1, it will still only count as one target thing on there. Obviously, there will be other things you can do. If we get something ridiculous, you know, if some like multi-millionaire decides to come in here and change my life, then obviously we will play the game. Not play the game, you know what I mean. We will do something else. We will do something to show that I'm grateful for that. I won't just say, thanks for the $100,000, but we still need 7 more. You know, I'm not gonna be a douche about it. Oh, right. Sorry. I'm getting distracted again. Hold up. But thank you, Alison. That is really, really very much appreciated. And my mum would appreciate it as well. And I'm sure she would give you a hug. And you strike me as a hugging kind of person as well, so... I heard a song called The Same Circle, which sounds like a really dope Little Nightmares hip-hop beat. Interesting. Now, yeah, that's something else that we can consider today as well, is music. Because music is a very, very important part of Little Nightmares, because it helps to create the atmosphere. I think that one of the most powerful tracks in Little Nightmares is actually the teacher's chase theme. It's terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. I feel like that chase scene is given all the more gravity because of that. The same with the Little Nightmares 3 supervisor one. The chase scene in that. Sorry, the trailer, the You're Being Watched trailer. The music in that is really, really petrifying. Iris Moss says the actress could have a permanent grin created with stitching at the mouth and a thin and bony frame to show the length she went through to try and maintain a perfect figure. Yes, excellent descriptive terminology right there. I'm going to add that to your comment from before. Excellent. Really like that. What I like as well is a lot of you guys are you already understand how like the concepts work for Little Nightmares. You know what the characters look like. You know the aesthetic that they're going for. So these ideas that you're coming up with, they would fit really, really well in Little Nightmares. Right, where was I? Sorry. Detective Gamer Treg, you're making a Little Nightmares game? Nice. I'm actually trying to work on a fan animated story of the children who sing it. I would love to see that. Gamer Treg, I would absolutely love to see your animation. I think the fan animations are some of my favourite things to watch on YouTube of Little Nightmares, because that's a talent I do not have. I am working on a Little Nightmares game with The Oldest Nightmare at the moment. We have like a small team of people working over the course of this year to bring you guys a playable version of my Little Nightmares 2 speculative DLC series. Thank you, Puppy. I really appreciate that. Sorry, I've gone way too far back, haven't I? I'm autistic and proud of it, as you should be, Catsy. It's a superpower in itself. Very, very good. Where are we? Heaven. I actually just made my first Little Nightmares OC. It's not the greatest thing ever. Glued to his chair, the director commands the actors, never listening to their pleas. He makes sure every scene is perfect. No, I like that a lot. Wait, Heaven, hold on. What do you mean that's not the greatest thing ever? That's brilliant. I like that a lot also. The director. What an awesome concept. I like that. Okay. Perfect. Brilliant. Yeah, see, I've copied that in there. I didn't copy your name, though. What a rookie error. 1 second. 1 second. Going back. Being a professional. Heave. Oh. There. Excellent. Really, really like that. Glued to his chair. That's a great description as well, because it's very similar to how the Little Nightmares devs would leave a description. So, like, They did a good one for the teacher. I use the teacher as another example, where she says like misbehaving children are seldom seen in her classroom. Children are supposed to be seen and not heard, or something like that. I'll bring it up on the screen in a minute, actually, because we're going to go through that. I just don't want to miss any of your chats right now. Oh, no matter what. I did think that was going to continue. No matter what. There we go. No matter what, the show must go on. I actually have drew him too. It's not the greatest idea, however. No, it's really cool. It is a really cool idea. And honestly, I thought the same thing about my first ever concept, because I wasn't sure on my character creation and stuff. But really, I do think that is a good idea. The director actually strikes me as the kind of character that could be like a last boss in a particular area, because he would be calling the shots, right? He wouldn't have to move from his chair. I imagine he would have minions to do it for him. But maybe he's like, what do you think he would look like? So, like, if you're thinking about the director as a concept, he'd be sitting in his chair and he's stuck to it, obviously. So how's he going to direct from there? What's he going to do? He's going to use his voice and project. But is he going to have, like, really long, spindly fingers to direct and point and click and things like that, snap his fingers? Is he going to have long arms like Roger? Like, what do you envision him looking like physically? Her voice might also be able to mimic other voices, linking her to the role as an actress. Yeah, that's a cool concept as well. Puppy Queen, I have this concept where we are in a theatre. The main antagonist is called the Puppeteer. He uses strings to control his puppets, which are the smaller enemy. I haven't fleshed it out much though. Not to worry, Puppy Queen, I'm going to copy that in as well, because the concept of puppets I've actually seen a couple of times come up in Little Nightmares lore. Not least of all is in the Sounds of Nightmares, because obviously Sounds of Nightmares has the man in the purple suit, and he has a puppet, right? And then I think GamerJube, a channel called GamerJube, if you guys haven't seen him, you should. They did a What Needs to Be in Little Nightmares 3 concept a few years ago, and I watched it. People said it was very similar to the videos that I made on the speculative DLC, and they had a puppet as one of their created characters as well. So puppet concept definitely has a place in the nowhere, because it's disturbing and pseudo-humanoid, and it's uncanny, and it fits really, really well. So yeah, brilliant concept, and if you could flesh it out a little bit more, that would be absolutely dope. I'd love to see that. Definitely something that we can consider. Puppeteer, you could even have like the puppeteer as the main enemy, and then have more than one puppet. You could have like several puppets of all different, like, you know, and they've all got different strengths, so they've all got different like characteristics about them and things like that. Like each puppet is individually shaped and all has a role to play in this like massive theatre. And then the actual puppeteer themselves could be like some massive overseer who's got like, I don't know, maybe loads of arms or loads of fingers, and they're in control. Everything's on strings. It could be. Cool. Where are we? I do have their designs though. Awesome. Now I know there's no way for you to share them on the stream here, Puppy Queen, but if you share them in the Discord, that's something that we can definitely look into later on. Why not for the streamers level is a large house or studio that has multiple wires coming out into every windows. The inside is multiple cameras and jugs of soda lying around. Yes, Rowdy Rex. Yeah, I like that. That's brilliant. And just loads of screens and just like lights and like just peripherals everywhere, like gaming mice and cameras and stuff, just like haphazardly strewn around. And like maybe like a camera in every room in really obscure places where they don't belong, like in the bathrooms and stuff. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. The streamer could look like, as you said, but utterly warped. His body has a bulky torso, long arms, and their legs are twisted together, resembling a snake tail. The upper half of his head is gone. Yeah, like he would have like, you know, quite a jacked upper body, but then his legs are just like non-existent, because you never see streamers' legs. You only ever see them from like the top up, so the rest of his body is just like Mewtwo. Nice. KitKatKatty, I have an evil dentist idea who usually wears a face mask over his nose and mouth, as later on we discover he has horrible teeth that are in a dreadful state with detachable arms. I actually had a concept drawn up of a dentist ages ago, and I didn't feel comfortable sharing it because it was just as AI art was becoming a thing. Sorry. Oh, can't see. I did that because I'm an idiot and I forgot to copy your name in again. But yeah, and it was right at the beginning of when AI art was becoming a thing. So I brought it up with the AI, and I was just like, you know, draw me a dentist concept, and it came up with something cool. It was weird though. You know how AI art is. It's awkward and difficult, and it doesn't really like it doesn't really capture the aesthetic the same as a real true artist would do. But it was just something that it was like I wanted to play with the concept and see if it was as like cool and interesting as it sounded when I seen it online. But yeah, I would actually prefer to see your design, because then it actually comes from the mind of a real person. Because I can describe whatever I want to the AI, but it won't be able to truly capture what I mean. Whereas if I give you an exact description of a character or a resident or a concept that I want drawing up, you could draw that to a T. And it would be perfect, and you could revise it and change it. And I know that that's the way AI is going at the moment, but I still prefer to work with actual real artists like yourself. Audience of moi. Audience of moi. Yeah. An idea that I had with a friend was a story centered around a human visitor wandering around the nowhere with another kid made of porcelain like the bullies in the school. Interesting. KR, expand on that a little bit for me, because there is something that I wanted to look into before, because obviously we find pictures of the bullies in the nowhere, primarily in the school area as you'd expect. But I seen Just George's theory a long time ago, and it was that the porcelain kids all look the same because they're based on actual real visitors to the nowhere, you know, real like flesh and bone children, and I wondered if like what those children were actually like, you know, before they were changed and then cloned and, you know, and reimagined to be the bullies. That'd be really cool to talk about. Virtual hugs, yes, big W's. So at least now you guys can see what my chat does when it jumps. Rowdy Rex. Replaced with a couple of wires that are connected to cameras, and in the palm of their hands are ring lights that they can use to blind the protagonist and stun them so the wire can wrap around them as the camera records. Yes, Rowdy Rex. Like that a lot. This is cool. We got some really good ideas here, guys. These are a lot of fun. I like that you guys are also not only considering the concept of the villains, but the areas that they reside in as well. I really like the idea of coming up with a place to, you know, where your creature is going to live. In fact, most of the time I come up with the environment before I come up with the monster itself. Like, I think of the environment and then I think of all the different things you would find within that environment, and then conceptualize which one of them is the most unsettling to me, or why it could be if I was to put a little bit of Little Nightmares flair on it. Potatoes, just joined, what's going on? Potatoes, we are coming up with concepts for a new Little Nightmares design. So we're thinking of environments, music, monsters, and character designs for Little Nightmares, and we're going to try and come up with some good ideas, and then the ones that I like best, well, like, I'm going to sort of pick one out of all the ones that we're getting so far. I'm going to try and pick one, and in another, in an upcoming video, I'm going to try and bring that concept to life by creating like a story around it. Like an animated, like, and I use the word animated very, very loosely because I can't animate. But you know, like I've made speculative DLC videos before where I've created, you know, a character. Well, no, I've used an existing character concept, and then I've like expanded on existing environments, but then I've created a resident and made them fit into the world, and that's kind of what we're doing here now together. How do you don't know? There should be a little button. So this button right here, I don't know if you can see on my screen, but you should have a little button right here next to the chat bar. And it's a little $sign, and it says show your support for Gemini. Again, no pressure, but if that's what you want to do, that's how you do it. Right there. Or you can join the membership program. I think that's also under the same button though. So you can do like super stickers, you can do super chats, you can join the membership program. You can drop me little love hearts as well if you want. That's nice too. Also. Gemini, you should do a stream where you just look at fan content, whether it's Little Nightmares or not, and bond with your subs. Yeah, I agree, Puppy. And there's that actually has been something I've considered doing, because I did one before where I just looked at everybody's fan art, and that was lovely, and it was really wholesome and nice to see everyone come together like that. But I would like to see more. Like, I would like to see other people's content as well. So yeah, like bonding with the chat is absolutely a goal. If you'd like me to, I could try to draw what I think the actress would look. I'd love to see that, Iris Moth. I would absolutely love to see a drawn concept of what your actress character would look like. That would be absolutely dope, because it's one thing for us to be able to like visualize it, but actually having a visual aid that was drawn by the person who conceptualized the design in the first place would be excellent, because in that way we can be sure that if that's a design that we're going to try and bring to life, then it's going to be your concept that we're really focusing on, since it was your primary idea. Brother Tibbs, how are you? Brother Jem, how are you? I hope everything's going. Everything is absolutely fantastic, Mr. Tibbs. I'm back and I am back to business. It's great to see you. I've heard that you've been undergoing a little bit of negativity recently, Mr. Tibbs, and I really hope that you're doing okay. I had every intention of reaching out. It's just about so much work to do recently that it's a delicate balance, as I'm sure you understand. But yeah, really hope that you're doing well, and thank you so much for stopping in and checking in with us, my brother. Really appreciate you. Runaway Cobra, can the director have a Hollywood tan? Yes, absolutely, because I can think of little more disturbing things than a Hollywood tan. A cool idea would be a mansion with living cruel dolls, kind of like Chucky, and are made by someone who cut the limbs off to create the dolls. Like Frankenstein dolls kind of thing. You know what? That's kind of how I envision the craftsman from Very Little Nightmares. At first I thought that's what he was doing, but his dolls don't come to life, do they? So yeah, if the one that actually creates living dolls, that would be a cool one. You know what? That's actually kind of like an expansion on what I think the principal's role is. So obviously we have the school, and then there's the principal, and it's alluded to a little bit, particularly in my Little Nightmares speculative DLC chapter 1, that the principal is responsible for creating the bullies that reside within the school, and they're kind of like puppets, so it's a similar concept to that. I feel like that could be either expanded on with the principal, or we could invent an entirely new concept where there is something that's capable of just breathing life into the inanimate, kind of like the Doctor does. Because we do know for a fact that that is a possibility in the nowhere. We've seen it done on more than one occasion. Hey, old friendo, what's up? I'm Maruk Khan. How are you? I'm terribly sorry if I can't pronounce your name very well, but it's an absolute pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much for stopping in. Hey, Maya, how you doing? Maybe a megaphone could be incorporated somehow. Blackport, that is absolute brilliance. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. One second. Backport. Where is the concept for the director? There we go, director. I'm going to put it right under there. Bang. Blackpaw Creations contributed. Maybe a megaphone could be incorporated somehow, because absolutely, if you've ever seen a movie set, the director generally will have a megaphone. That's how they get their points across, and that's how they say cut, how they say action, and how they call for different cues and things like that. Megaphone could definitely be incorporated somehow. I would absolutely love that. In fact, it might be cool to have it as like a mask that he wears like around his face, so sort of like, you know, a mask like this that's strapped to the face, but instead of having like a ninja mask, he would have a megaphone out in the front of it like that, so every sound he makes is projected like that. He could even use the megaphone as a means to stun you. So like, you're trying to navigate the area, you're trying to navigate his scene, or his film set, you're being chased by his you know, what's the word, his crew, you know, his camera people and things like that, and you're trying to navigate it, and then in order to slow you down, maybe he like shouts through the megaphone, and the sound waves come through so loudly that it paralyzes you momentarily or something, or maybe, but you like, so it could be a way for you to, like, I don't know, he's in the background, okay? You've got the director in the background like this. He's shouting through his megaphone. You are being chased by his film crew. The film crew are all chasing you and they're gaining on you. But every time he shouts, it paralyzes everything that's caught within that sound wave, kind of thing. So he yells, everyone in the room sort of freezes and covers their ears. So you, in order to gain distance between yourself and the people, the characters that are chasing you, you have to hide behind boxes or something that would like break that shockwave. So you and like your companion or your character will take shelter behind a box. He yells, everyone gets paralyzed, and then when everyone's still got their ears covered, you run and create a little bit more distance. And you have to navigate the room by going from like box to chair to cupboard to, you know, and get yourself from A to B until you're out of his range. He can't chase you because he's glued to the chair. It's like fixed into it. But his crew can chase you. But they're also susceptible to the damage that he will do projecting through his speaker. I like that. That's cool. That's something that was fun to think about. I really enjoyed that. Thank you. That was cool. Really good contribution there. What do you guys think of that? That was interesting. That was a lot of fun to consider. Let's see. Does the director use CGI, AI, or live action? Probably AI, given how disturbing it is. Sorry, yeah, Bark Paw Creations. That was excellent. That really sent me on a tangent. That brilliant. Cloudy J, it would be kind of cool for the director to have eyes that are like sunken or something similar. Yeah, all right. You know, so it could be that the director has like a really like low, I don't know, like really squinty eyes, like really dull, small eyes. But then when he catches sight of you, he opens them, and maybe his eyes are kind of like the monster babies, so they like shed a spotlight on you. You know, so it's like the whole lights, camera, action thing. So it is the action. You know, he sees movement, he opens his eyes, and they project some kind of paralyzing gaze. Again, because he's paralyzed in his chair. Sorry, he's stuck to his chair. He's immobile, he doesn't move. So he has to have a number of weapons that are a potential threat to you. So his eyes, his voice through his megaphone, and then, of course, his staff, his crew. In terms of the evil director, he could speak or shout in a megaphone where he points it at someone they have to obey without question or reason. Yeah, exactly. So, like, it could be that that's how he's directing the people. Maybe the people that work for him, his crew, you know, his camera people and stuff like that, maybe they're blind, like Roger or the viewers, for instance. You know, the faces are all like melted. Maybe the faces are all melted like candle wax after being under the beaming lights of the film set all day. It's kind of melted all of their faces. So they can't see. So they have to like follow his instructions by his voice, sort of thing. And that's the only way. That's why they find it difficult to chase you. And that's the reason he has to keep yelling and paralyzing them while you're being chased, because they can't chase you without him telling you, saying where you've gone, kind of thing. That could be cool. Yeah, I like that. That's all kind of tying together. I like this director concept. This is cool. This is going to be a lot of fun. For some reason, I'm imagining him looking in like... You guys will be familiar with the Overman. The character concept. Let me bring up the Overman for you real quick. A picture of... Actually, no, I won't, because you guys all know who the Overman is, and I'm way behind on chat, and I'm going to try and catch up. But that's how... The guy sitting in the chair... I'm imagining the Overman for some reason. I don't know why. He just always struck me as kind of a director or like a man in charge sort of thing. I did draw a picture of what I think he could look like. I wish he could show up here. He has a large megaphone to command the actors and a large head to represent his massive ego. He's also pretty much sealed into his chair. I don't know how boss fighter works out. It's alright, Heaven, that's what we're conceptualizing right now, but this is great. And I really like that concept, and I'd love to see what you've drawn as well. If you were to post it in the Discord, I will see it at some point. And feel free to @me as well in Discord as well. It might take me a little while to see it because I get dozens of messages on Discord and it's hard to keep up. But I do make a point of looking at them, particularly the ones that contain art. Hey, Keith Steve King, how you doing? Hope you're doing all right. What's up, Loster Monster? How you doing? I always call you Loster Monster. Loster Monster, how are you? It's actually going really well. We're having a lot of fun. We're having a good time conceptualizing. You're an artist as well. I feel like you would enjoy this stream because we're coming up with Little Nightmares concepts, as you can see by the poll above. In fact, if you guys haven't already voted on the poll, please do, because I'm interested to see like what parts, like what facets of the Little Nightmares universe you guys are most interested in exploring. I'll post a drawing of the actress on my channel for you to check out whenever you're ready. I have to go now, but I hope my ideas have been helpful. Very much helpful, Iris Moth, and I really appreciate that. I will be sure to check out the drawing on your channel as soon as it's up. Potatoes, maybe you could take out the cameras or TVs, yeah. Tomato Man, AI art could be so cool if it wasn't so... Yeah, I know, right? This is the thing. There is so much potential in artificial intelligence, but I feel like people are utilising it for the wrong reasons. And it's very commercial at the moment. And that's sad because it could be used for so much good. It could be used to, like, render statistics. It could be used for... I won't go into too much of, like, all the positives, because there's a number of positives and it will be met with controversy, because you could argue that for every positive there's a negative and so on. But my point is, something so powerful with so much potential shouldn't necessarily be used for creating content online, you know, like art and music and video and things like that. It should be used for paving roads or making buildings easier or safer. You know, or like, you know, fire safety, for instance. You know, imagine if we could program AI to be a firefighter. Like, firefighters are some of the most brave, heroic, and strong people I ever met in my entire life. I have huge respect for them. Every time I see a fire truck going by, I'll always drop them a little salute, you know, just give them a little wave and let them know that their work is respected. Because it takes a special kind of person to run into a building that's on fire. You know, it's a whole other level of bull that you would expect out of these people. But if we had artificial intelligence at a level where you could program something, a rescue bot of some kind. And again, I know economically, financially, we're not there yet. We're not there from, you know, an economical perspective. We're not there from a technological perspective. But my point is, all of the work that's been put into creating AI art and AI content, AI media, deepfakes and things like that. Imagine if they were to work with that amount of passion on building an actual robot, like a physical being with the capability and the sole function of going into a burning building as an immortal being with the only notion of rescuing whoever's trapped inside. Like, that's what AI could do, because it has potential. It's ridiculously powerful, especially if we were to unlock its full potential. But we're using it to draw pictures and take jobs away from hard-working artists who spent the past 20 or 30 years mastering a craft that they can no longer be relied on to do, because there's a machine that will do the same kind of job in 20 seconds for $10 a month. It kind of sucks. You know, I get it. I get that there's a lot of positive in it. I've used it myself. It's good fun. And I like that it's learning and it's improving, it's getting better. But I just feel like the places where it's been most focused on are not the right places. I feel like it could be used for so much more good. Anyway, sorry, tangent aside. I feel like we've done it all. So, yeah, we absolutely have all done it at some point. Hello, friends. I thought a resident based around trypanophobia, fear of needles, would be interesting. Yes, it would, Fulcrum. Yes, it absolutely would. Because something that I was going to bring up to you guys while you're considering these, but I know most of you have already brought this up already. Already recognized this already. Is that these are based, the main impact that Little Nightmares characters have is when they're based on childhood fears. And childhood fears are a lot of different things. Some of them make perfect sense because, like, you know, everybody is afraid, most people are afraid of pain. Like, nobody likes pain, at least nobody normal. Like, I know some of you are masochists as well, so some of you will argue with me in the comments anyway, but the majority of people don't like pain. You don't seek it out. And when you think of needles or injections, you think, oh no, pain, damage to my body, blood, invasion, you know, it's not good. So yeah, a concept of needles is definitely something worth exploring, because as a kid I was terrified of needles. Now, not so much. Like, it doesn't bother me anymore. I've had enough dental work to know the benefits of getting an injection. You know, it doesn't really bother me, but it bothers some people. Some people, I literally know grown-ass men, and these are strong men, you know, like kickboxers, fighters, like actual combat-ready men, that have got up and walked out of a dental surgery because they didn't want to get an injection. That's like that's the power that fear has over people. Kit Kat Katsy with a donation that I haven't seen. I've seen it up here now. I just noticed it right there. 1 second. It won't let me scroll, please. Where is... don't do that. Don't jump. Where is... I need to love... Yes, there you go. Boom. Boom. Kit Kat Katsy. Hang in there, Gem, for your mum. Stay strong, my brother. I know it's not much, but I hope this helps towards quality care for your mum. Much love to you both. Thank you so much, Kit Kat Katsy. That is massively well. And honestly, right, I know you're saying it's not much. We had this talk the other day. I gave my mum £20. And that was like donations from you guys. And I said, here you go, man, this is £20 from my chat. And it was like, she was so grateful for it, because my mum doesn't go, oh, it's only £20. Like, something important to recognise, and Katsy, you'll already know this. I live in the United Kingdom. I live in the UK. So these payments are not going towards my mum's treatment. We have the NHS. That's what our tax pays for. We don't have to pay for her treatment. So we don't need hundreds of thousands of dollars. We don't need thousands and thousands of pounds or life-changing money. I don't need to start like a Patreon or a Kickstarter or anything like that to afford the surgery and the treatment that my mum is undergoing. That is covered. The problem that we're having is my family are very poor. We're all broke, and my parents are disabled. They don't walk, so neither of them, at least not very far. They can go up and down stairs, and that's about it. If she wants to go outside, she needs me to push her in a wheelchair and things like that. So if you give me money, it goes towards her travel, because if she has to go get treatment at a hospital, she has to get there on her own. She has to be able to get to that hospital, and we live miles away from it. Sometimes these hospitals are in alternate towns, because our hospital, unfortunately, doesn't have a lot of state-of-the-art facilities that my mum sadly needs to receive her treatment. So she'll have to go to the next town across, or to a bigger city like Hull or York, so that we can use their state-of-the-art hospital equipment there. But it necessitates my mum travelling to it, and that can cost £15, £20, £40 at a time that she just doesn't have. So these donations, as small as they might be, they are making all the difference, because that £15, that'll cover a train ticket. That £15 will get her to York. That's what's important. That's what she needs. It doesn't have to be thousands of pounds, as long as it's something that can take the edge off. Because without this, my mum doesn't have a means of income, because she has to claim a benefit. As she should, because she not only is she heavily disabled, she has cancer. So anyway, my point is, my mum deserves the money that she gets, but it's not enough. So these donations that you guys make, I've so gratefully received, because as small as they might be and insignificant as they might seem, they are not. They make a world of difference to me and my family. So thank you so much. Never ever apologise for the size of your donation, because if it's a pound, if it's a dollar, if it's a penny, it makes a difference to us. We understand the value of money because we're broke as, So thank you. Thank you so much. Never ever feel like it's not welcome. Never feel like it's not appreciated. It very much is. Anyway, sorry. Let me go back and see, because I've fallen way behind again. Also, yes, hello Fulcrum. I hope you're doing all right. Hey, Just GKS, how you doing? Hope you're doing all right. We are coming up with character concepts today, my friend, which I feel like you will be particularly good at, considering you've done a few of these yourself. Hey, Faceless Art and Skills, what's up? How you doing? I'm really glad you could make it as well, because this is totally your kind of stream, where I'm sure that you, of all people, will be able to come up with character concepts, because I know you've done this already. I've actually been lucky enough to see some of Faceless Art's work in real time. I've used Faceless Art's work in my videos previously. She's an excellent artist. Yeah, so feel free, Faceless, to share a couple of your concept ideas as well. Support character's named Sky. I actually have a support character in the works at the moment. I won't reveal it just yet, but I will tell you she's a girl. Potatoes, the environments could be different twisted sets based on popular movies. Oh yes, Potatoes. Well done. Put that in there. There. I'm just gonna add. Sorry, I keep forgetting to copy people's names. Potatoes. Oh, I spelled potatoes right. Potatoes says the environments could be different, twisted sets based on popular. Yeah, absolutely. And you could throw in some cameo appearances in there, certain scenes from certain movies, particularly horror movies and things like that. Famous scenes, like from The Shining, for instance. The Shining, where Jack breaks through the door with an axe and pokes his face in and says, "Here's Johnny." That little things like that, where you'll have to navigate your way through different scenes of famous movie sets and things like that are twisted and warped, or some that were particularly wholesome scenes from really nice movies. I don't know, like Alice in Wonderland or The Wizard of Oz, where it's the Yellow Brick Road or the Emerald Castle or something like that, where it's supposed to be nice, but because it's in the nowhere, it's all warped and distorted and twisted, and it's just off. It's just weird. There's something just something dull about it. That's dope. I like that. That's cool. Well done, potatoes. Yeah, to expand, these kids escaped the school a long time ago. I thought maybe a distance from the school could restore the porcelain kid's sentience, if that makes sense. A big challenge is the human visitor trying to protect and escape with their very fragile friend. Yes! Yeah, that's really cool as well, because that's something that we didn't really get to see. Oh, excuse me. So obviously, a concept of having a porcelain character would mean that they are very fragile and not capable of like the combat mechanics that say Mono or Six might be. So your job could be not only to cooperate with your friend, but to protect them in the same scenario, which would add another layer of challenge to a multiplayer concept. I like that, KR. That's really cool. Whereas, let me just pop that in. I'm going to put it at a random area here. There we go. Yeah, that's really cool. I like that a lot. Oh. Tell you what, let me just... I'm trying to keep it so there are notes, so that when I actually do come to like making these concepts, if I do, because obviously I'm not going to create every one of these and make them all into future videos and stuff, but I'm going to pick one or two of them and actually utilize these ideas, and I really like them. But the reason I'm keeping the names there is so I can accurately credit the people who came up with them, because obviously none of these are my ideas. These are a community effort, so I want all of you to be recognized. Like, this video will be linked, as well as the channels of everybody that's made a contribution to this discussion, and then there will be like special shout outs for whoever made the most, like, you know, whoever initially came up with the concept. So if I do go ahead and make like an AI companion for a scenario who happens to be a porcelain child, that idea will have stemmed specifically from what KR said. So even if we expand on that concept and it becomes like a fully fledged idea and we have it fully realized in a future video, KR will still be getting a massive shout out in that for giving the initial idea and the greatest contribution to that concept in particular. The same as Puppy Queen would do for the theatre, Rowdy Rex would for the streamer, and so on and so forth. Let me bring up the chat once more. In terms of a new environment, I have a very spooky and unsettling forest idea in mind where the trees and atmosphere is all dark and looming, where ground under your feet moves. That's cool as well. That is cool as well. Now, it could be argued that we've had a forest idea in the wilderness, but it could also be an expansion of the wilderness. In fact, I really, really hope that we hit this goal, because my creature concept is based around the wilderness. There's a little tidbit of information that I maybe shouldn't have given you, but yeah. I'd love to see a library. Yeah, I'd love to see a library as well, Alan. Absolutely. I'm actually going to copy and put that in, because a librarian is another concept that I played with before. But again, I used AI art to create it, and it just didn't feel right. It felt a bit uncomfortable and uncouth, and I just didn't go ahead with the idea. Plus, it wasn't my idea either. I saw a concept for a librarian drawn up before by a phenomenal artist. I can't remember the name of them, but you will be able to find it on Google. In fact, I'll find it for you now. I'll show you it right here while I'm talking about it. Little Nightmares Librarian. This one right here, monster by Ango Drag on DeviantArt. This concept right here, that's the librarian. And honestly, if I was to go that way and try and create a concept for the librarian character, I don't think I could do a better job than this person has. And I don't think there's much more I could add to this character concept that would make it better. All I could do really is design, like, you know, puzzles around it, or maybe design like a character who you would find in this area, because I don't necessarily think it would be Mono or Six. I feel like it would be a slightly different character, you know, somebody who we haven't got to see in action just yet. But this concept for the librarian is absolutely dope, and I absolutely love it, and I've always thought it was fantastic, but I've never explored the idea of a librarian, not because it's not a good idea, but because as far as I'm concerned, it's been done. Like, this could be a legitimate Bandai Tarsier supermassive monster, in my opinion. That is very, very legit, in my opinion. What do you think? You guys might disagree, but that's how I feel. I feel like the librarian is a brilliant idea and a great concept, and I would love to do it, but I wouldn't be comfortable doing it without having Ango Dragon on board to do the artwork and to expand on the lore of that character, because this idea was not mine. So I don't feel like I would be able to expand on it logically and do justice to the actual idea, given that the foundation for the idea wasn't mine in the first place. Support character named Sky. She was looking for her brother named Dark, but she does not know her brother is dead. She has a candle and an old cane she can use. The cane to grab faraway doors and keys to swing. So would Sky be a shorter character, do you think? As a visitor in the Nowhere, we tend to see all of the children as the same or a similar size. So they're all like, 6, mono, low, alone, a runaway kid. They're all a similar size. The only ones we've seen that are really like different sizes would be the flashlight girl, who's considerably taller than our heroes are. And then there was the concept for the toddler, who would obviously have been shorter, but we didn't get a 3D design for the toddler, so I can't say that with certainty. But I did see this this thing before. Let me just bring this up real fast if I can find it. Forgive my messy Little Nightmares folder. This is where I come to find this is where I come to find inspiration. See, this is the flashlight girl, and she's about the tallest character, as you can see, and then there's the rest of them all get like progressively shorter as it goes on. So your concept for Sky, would Sky be a shorter person like these kids down here, like 6 without the raincoat? Would she be closer to a gnome size, or would she be similar to 6 or mono, do you think? Quicksand like ooze in places where you only have broken wooden crates and logs to stand on, where a big evil creature lives who snatches lost children. Turns them into little jack-o'-lanterns. That would actually be a really cool idea for a Halloween concept. So, if we were to do an expansion for a Little Nightmares Halloween edit or something like that, like a DLC Halloween special or something, that would actually be dope. I like that. Faces that says, hey, just GKS. Catsy's got an invite to Mr. Tibbs's Discord as well. Yep, Brother Jem is indeed in Mr. Tibbs's, and he will be returning to YouTube soon. I'm very glad to hear that, Mr. Tibbs. Really glad to hear that you'll be coming back, because Mr. Tibbs is currently on the road to 100 subscribers, and I definitely think he can be there. He's trying to get there before June. I think he can get there before the end of the day if you guys pool together. Under no pressure, of course, because obviously he might not make the kind of content you enjoy, but I personally am a huge fan of Mr. Tibbs and the things that he does. Also, a massive thank you to you guys, because today, right now, somebody called Joe subscribed to me, and they were actually in Kit Kat Katsy's stream, where she was playing Pokemon just now, about an hour or two ago, and that person became my 7,000th subscriber. Today, about 2 hours ago, maybe 1 hour ago, we hit 7,000 subscribers, which is massive. To me, that's an enormous number. And some people might argue that it's not really that big, and comparatively to other YouTubers, it's not. But as far as I'm concerned, 7,000 people enjoy what I do. And when I try to imagine what 7,000 people looks like, it's like a football stadium to me. It's wild to think that many people appreciate what I do. So massive thank you for helping me to achieve that goal. It's a fantastic thing to be celebrating. Because I'm so fresh to it, I haven't had a chance to write, draw up a proper thank you post or anything like that. But I will be posting something, and I will be celebrating in one way or another. Maybe by doing a giveaway, potentially. What do you think? Should I do a giveaway? Do you guys want a present from me for my success? Let me know, because I am open to... What about a coffee shop? Coffee shops are known to be cozy, but by making one for the Little Nightmares universe, we're able to make one that's not very cozy. Yeah, Heaven, I actually really like that, because you've done the right thing there. Your idea is perfect, because it's taken something that is conventionally not very scary. It's a coffee shop, like you'd say. It's a school. It's a barber's. It's a mall. These aren't scary places. When you think of scary places, you think of, hospitals, all right, they can be quite scary, but not supposed to be. They're supposed to be warm and welcoming. They're just not, because you understand what really goes on, or at least you understand that you're never really there for a positive reason. But other places like the barbers, I had a wonderful haircut today. I had a nice shave. You give me a hot towel, head massage. You give me a shave with the with a nice razor blade and everything. Felt fresh and clean afterwards. It was a really nice experience. But the barbers in the nowhere, horrifying. The same with the concept for a coffee shop. The only thing that I would argue with this is the fact that, and it kind of stems from the barbershop thing, in Little Nightmares 2, we actually walk through a small cafe. And that small cafe is such a very small area, and it's just like, it's kind of like, some people mistook it for the barber shop because it had like, the tall swivelly chairs, and then it had like just a backdrop in the background with the clothes. There was nobody in it. There was just the visitors' clothes like draped over the backs of the chairs and things like that. I think we've kind of already seen that concept before. You could expand on it if you wanted to, but I feel like that's one of the main reasons why the barber was cut from Little Nightmares 2, because his area was too small to facilitate like creating like a full-blown enemy and a whole other chase scene and everything like that. I feel like it would have been really difficult to expand because a barber shop is not a very big place to explore. It would be a really cool concept to see and to pass through, but I feel like it was too minimal, like with not enough potential for long-term gameplay. I just feel like it didn't add enough to the final product for them to justify doing it, as much as I would have loved to see it, and trust me, I would have loved to see it. Sorry, I keep meaning to highlight where I am so that I don't forget about that. How about a mall instead of a small place like a coffee shop? Yeah, see, this is more what I'm thinking of. And again, a mall is something that kind of has been done. I realised this recently because I've been thinking of utilising a mall in one of my own concepts. I won't spoil too much about it, but just know that I already have an idea for a mall, and that is coming up before long. It's going to be really, really interesting. But yeah, Alan is right. To expand on that, so like you could have a coffee shop, but it would be a part of the mall, kind of thing. Like, if you get like a small eatery, a cafe, or a small restaurant, or a clothing boutique, or something like that, it could be a part of a mall as well. So it could be part of a larger thing, similar to how the Pale City is the main area in Little Nightmares 2. But we still, in the Pale City, we don't leave the Pale City, even though we explore 3 different parts of it. That being the school, the hospital, and then the city itself outside the subway. Is it subway sort of train station thing? And then we crash. We end up in the city centre where the signal tower is. But it's it's vast. It's so vast that even though we explore so many different facets of it, we never leave. And that's my idea with the mall, is that the mall is so huge that if I was to visit a couple of different parts of the mall and have my characters run through them and meet different visitors that I'd like interact with them throughout the mall, then I don't actually have to leave the mall at all. So it sort of keeps it contained in one particular area. But yes, both fantastic ideas there by Heaven and Alan. Haunted cat cafe. Yeah, that would actually be great. We had a cat cafe in my town. I never got to visit it. It didn't last very long. Nothing ever does here. Change my username mid-live. Twigpaw. There's not enough space, but a coffee shop would be enjoyable. Yeah, I agree, Alan. Absolutely. Such an awesome idea for the director. See, yeah, but this is the thing. You might not have thought of that, but the initial idea for the director was yours, and that's why I thought this stream would be a good idea, because we're all coming together and bouncing ideas off. The idea of brainstorming is because you're able to pull these ideas out. It's actually why I have this folder. This folder here is just full of Little Nightmares ideas. It's just pictures that I thought were interesting at the time. It's got the art book, it's got signs and symbols. Like, I'll use this page here as an inspiration for stuff as well, because it's got so many different concepts here that I think I could use. I could turn this into a monster design. This could be a product. This right here is an inspiration for a character. I'll do it right now. This right here makes me think of meat, a butcher's. We could have a butcher concept. So you would actually be walking down a high street, maybe like in a residential area that's got smaller shops, not necessarily like a city, but like a small town or a village. That small town or village would likely have a farm, and it would likely have a butcher. And that butcher could be an absolute nightmare if sprinkled with a little bit of nowhere, couldn't it? You know, think of what a butcher from the nowhere would look like. He would be hideous, and I imagine his skin would be all twisted and like manipulated and like poorly cut and things like that, and his apron would be constantly bloodstained and disheveled, and he'd be filthy. His hands would be gross. But you know, and he'd be just pulling bits out. He'd be like a cross between the hunter and the doctor in a weird kind of way. But, you know, just that, all of that thought process came from this sign right here. That's why I like having this folder, where it's just literally got dozens and dozens and dozens of Little Nightmares ideas in there that we can draw concepts from. That's why I brought it up in this stream, so that we can do stuff like that. And if anything particularly stands out, I'll just cut it off and I will stick it to the images brainstorm page. Because right now we've got all of these ideas, but they're all notes, because I'm copying your ideas down from the chat, which I have lost, by the way. There you go. He has a megaphone that's bigger than his body. Yeah, damn right. But the puppeteer concept, I imagine that you have to make your way across the stage. When the spotlight comes to you, you have to stop until the spotlight turns. Basically red light, green light. Yeah, I like that. That's really cool as well. Really cool, Puppy Queen. Yeah. Red light, green light, because again, that not only adds to the atmosphere and level design, but also the puzzle aspect of it as well, because creating these ideas is fun, and one of the things that I struggle with the most is puzzles, like, you know, actual level design. I can imagine what the level will look like, but how you navigate the level is where the gameplay comes into it, and the gameplay is my weakest area. I can tell a story, I can create a character, I can invent a concept and bring it to life. What I really struggle with is creating a level design that you would have to navigate in a way that makes sense, especially given the limited articulations that the characters are capable of, because they have like run, jump, slide, climb, and shout now. And then obviously in Little Nightmares 3 we're going to have weapons or tools that we can use as well. That could be a concept that we go on to explore. But creating the actual puzzles is really difficult. So when you guys come up with ideas like that, like we did with the director shouting and us have to like take shelter from his voice, or that one that Puppy Queen's just come up with there, with the light concept, the red light, green light thing, very similar to in Little Nightmares 1 and Very Little Nightmares, where the you know, the paralyzing eye, same kind of concept, but again it's a different spin on a similar gameplay mechanic, so it works. Hi Weevil, hi Tomato Man, hi, yes, hi Weevil indeed. Hi, Van Osdelgaia, how are you? I'm really sorry it took me so long to get to your comment. I hope you're aware that I'm trying to like read these and take them on board and give everyone the respect they deserve when they're contributing ideas to a future video. I'd hate to miss something that's a really good idea, or like go back to something later on and then say, this was my idea and you didn't credit me, and because I absolutely have every intention of doing so. And this live stream will be available to watch afterwards as a VOD, and that's why I'm trying to keep chat on stream for as long as I can. So if you do come up with an idea that I use in the future, but I don't credit you for it, then I'm like, I want you to know that it's here and I can see it, you know, so that we're not just gas bagging here, so that we can come back to this. A good chase theme would be something similar to the Shape Stalk soundtrack from John Carpenter. Yeah, absolutely, I love that. That's one of my favourite themes of all time. Well, it's iconic, isn't it? You know, with Michael Myers being the shape in the distance. I can't do it for too long because it'll flag. I'll get demonetized. I'll lose all of your generous donations. But yeah, absolutely, a great chase theme indeed. It would be. We could even put a spin on something like that. You know, use a similar kind of concept as far as instruments go, to create the sense of unease that the shape gives. I have Little Nightmares 1 and 2, both digital, Nintendo Switch, PS4, PS5, Steam, Xbox One. I support Tarzio students because of Little Nightmares. See, that is really admirable, so that you've got every single one. I feel like I'm in a similar boat. I haven't bought... Excuse me, I'm drinking far too much fizzy cola. I feel like I've supported them in a similar kind of way, but I kind of did and I kind of didn't, because I have this. Where's it gone? That. Sorry, I'm going to have to stand. I have this, which is the sixth edition of Little Nightmares. So it's the 6th edition, and it's got, you know, the little character in there, and it comes with like stickers and a poster and other stuff and things like that as well. And it's for a PS4. I don't own a PS4. I've never owned a PS4, but I've got this. But the thing is, this was a gift from the Notorious Bass, who I'm not only a massive fan of, but he is a member of the channel as well. And he's become a very dear friend of mine over the time as well. And he bought me this, and he's very kind, and I keep it. I'm actually building a shelf. It came yesterday, funnily enough. The shelf that's going to go behind me when I reorganise this office, it came yesterday. So I have the shelf that this is going to live on, and I'm going to put all of my Little Nightmares collectibles and stuff on there as well. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I got a Coraline doll. Dope, right? This isn't. I actually bought this as a gift for somebody. So that won't be going on my shelf, but I have it for now, and I thought you guys would appreciate seeing it. Anyway. Yes, nice to meet you as well, Van Osdelgaia. And again, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. I am terribly British. Sorry if I wasn't specific for the head, but the streamer could wear a headset with cameras coming out of his brain, like turning off the Wi-Fi router via smashing. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely could. I'm copying your ideas in here, Rex, because obviously this is... I feel like the streamer is a character that's going to be based on, like, me or Just Jord or somebody like that. Like, it could be like a mixture, like the demon love child of me and Just Jord. I mean, like, that's the concept I'm imagining. I feel like that'd be dope. I've lost chat again. There it is. Okay. Maybe we could have an intern who's like a student but really small, always holding a cup of coffee for the day. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the intern, just like a smaller character that he's just constantly abusing. You know, he's constantly slapping them around, like they bring him coffee and he takes the coffee and then knocks them aside, get out of my way, you know, like really dismissive of them or something. Yeah, I actually like that as well. Where are we? Wait. Yeah, like the intern. Runaway Cobra, that's a good contribution for the director as well, because obviously the director concept is really cool and it's got loads of potential, but it's got but because the director himself isn't going to be like the primary, well, he will be the primary threat, but he's not able to act on it, kind of thing, so we're going to have to give him like an aura sort of thing. Oh. See, now you guys got to see that happen in real time. My chat just died. I am not being ignorant. I am a professional. This is something that really irritates me because YouTube just runs out of room, basically. So I'm going to have to close my chat and bring it back up if I can find it. Reload. Grab chat. 71 votes on that so far. And these are really clear cut. Like, as you guys can see, that's really, really balanced in there. Where is my chat pop out? Grow the chat so I can actually see what people have to say to me. There you go, and then go back to a page that's a better backdrop. There you go. Okay, right, where were we? Altac! Look at that! Altac, that was ages ago as well, because I've seen that come up on my alternative screen earlier, and I thought I seen blue. Thank you so much, Altac. What a W. What a top G. Praying for your mum, really hope she's okay. My mum will really appreciate that. My mum would be very, really happy to read that, honestly. My mum gets a lot of love in these streams, and it's massively, massively appreciated. I actually get really choked up with it. That's why you'll see me sort of stop and compose myself for a minute, because I don't like to be emotional online, but obviously it's a very, very powerful thing. you know, the stuff that's going on at home, and everybody has their own personal issues. I'm sure every single one of you does. You all have things that you get upset about, find difficult to talk about, and it's really tough to just be positive in a world that seems so overtly negative most of the time, particularly when you're going through something really hard. So it's even harder still to come through knowing that you've got all of your own problems going on in your own life, and yet you're here supporting me, you know, and supporting my issues and remedying my problems and things like that. So for you to have enough love to not only deal with your own stuff that's going on outside of my stream, but also to come to me, recognize like my vulnerability and my mum's vulnerability and help, that speaks volumes about your character. Don't ever lose that. Like, you people, and this doesn't just count for the people that have made donations. Obviously, I know that not everyone is in a position to do so, and there is no pressure to do so either. It's just massively appreciated when you are, and the reason I spend so much time talking about it is because I want you to know how much it's valued. Something that bothers me is when I see bigger YouTubers, way bigger than me, and they'll have dozens and dozens of really kind and loving and wholesome donations coming through, and they just ignore them. I know why they do. It's because they're so huge that it's impossible to keep up. It just is. It's too hard, and I couldn't possibly expect somebody like Moist Critical or Markiplier or Jacksepticeye or Mr. Beast or somebody like that to read each and every one. They just don't have the time. It's physically impossible. I know that they appreciate it, they just can't vocalize it. But I'm in a position where I am able to keep up. So I'm able to take this extra bit of time to recognize the value of you guys and your contributions. So I want that to be known now and made clear now, so that I have an archive of me being grateful and showing you how I really truly feel about your contributions and, you know, the things that you say and the kind words you've said to my mum, so that we can look back. So if I ever do have 1,000 people in chat and I feel, and it seems really ignorant, there's people saying this guy's such a douche, he doesn't even acknowledge when people are being kind to him. You know, I want you to know that I would if I could, and this is the proof of it, because right now I can, so I am. Anyway, again, tangents. Neon Studio, there's literally a library in Little Nightmares 1. There actually is. Neon Studio is correct. There is a library in Little Nightmares 1, and there's a library in Little Nightmares 2 in the school as well. And although those areas are brief, we don't necessarily get to see them like fully realized. Like, if we were to look at a much larger library concept, and we were to expand on it, then yeah, the librarian would definitely have a place in the Little Nightmares world. I don't doubt that there will be a librarian in there somewhere, but we've just never been subject to her wrath, because we've never explored a library that's big enough to give her any level of significance within the worlds that we've explored so far. But Neon Studio is correct. There have been library concepts explored already, which is actually cool, because it means that if we were to like create a concept based on a library, which we're not going to do because it's already been done, as is evident by Ango Dragon's design right here, which is phenomenal, which is why I got it on screen. But at least if we were to create that kind of area, we know roughly what it'd look like. We know that there would be stacks upon stacks upon stacks of titleless books with no dialogue and no text in them and things like that. Again, thank you, Altac. I can't stop looking at that. Thank you. Hey Gemini, I'm late. Probably won't be able to be here for a while. Hey Altac, I really hope you're still here, because if I've missed that and I wasn't able to say thank you while you were here, then I'm really sorry about that. I know that you know what I'm like anyway. You've come to enough of my streams and you've contributed enough in the past to recognise who I am and what I'm about. So I know you won't take it personally, but I really hope that you're here to hear me be grateful. In the forest environment, the protagonist makes their way to a cave with bones and other unmentionables scattered around. You make your way deeper and deeper into the cave until you see the boogeyman. I wish with all my heart that I had been faster with this particular concept. But I'm just going to say I love that. I love that so much that it exists somewhere. You'll see. I can't expand on it, and I want to, but spoilers. But trust me, you like it, Catsy. You'll like it. When I first played Very Little Nightmares, wait. When I first played Very Little Nightmares on my phone, I'd beaten it, but I couldn't start a new game. Ah, that's weird. That's really strange. Have you tried uninstalling and then reinstalling the app? Because that did happen to me once before. I've also had it with Very Little Nightmares where I've gotten halfway through the game and then had to stop because like I got a phone call or something, and I went back to the game and it deleted my progress. I don't know why it did that. It was strange. It was like a little glitch, but it could have been something to do with like my phone's memory or internet connection or whatever. I don't blame it. Like, Very Little Nightmares isn't very long and it's a lot of fun to play through, so I wasn't like devastated by it. It was just inconvenient because I was like, you know, I'd already done that, but it is what it is. Happy 7k indeed. Happy 7k indeed. Today we reached 7,000 subscribers, which is a massive number to me, and I am exceedingly proud of it, and I owe it all to you guys as my community, so I'm very, very grateful for it. I haven't put out a post about it or anything like that. Please don't think me ungrateful. I haven't put a post out about it because it happened an hour ago. Literally like 5 minutes before I started streaming, I got the 7,000th subscriber. I was actually attending Kit Kat Catsy's live stream when I got the subscriber. His name is Joe, and he's brilliant, and we owe it to him that I'm actually here saying it. I will be creating a community post, and I will be celebrating 7,000 subscribers one way or another. Let me know how you guys feel I should celebrate. Should I do a giveaway or something like that, do we think? Because I feel like it's justified. Katsy, I am reading yours, by the way. The only reason I'm not expanding on them is because I think I'm going to message you privately, because there is there are too many similarities here for me to feel justified in reading them here and then saying I didn't steal your idea, because it's so similar to an idea that I currently have that I feel like I need to share it with you personally. Yes, big W's for Altac indeed. My Little Nightmares Childhood sees Evie. Is it Evie or Evie? I'm going to say Evie for now because I like the name Evie. Evie and Jules have a bittersweet fate. Evie's brother Jules gets turned into a monster and they are trapped in the theatre with no escape, but Jules still remembers her despite being a monster. So she keeps her with him. She knows she'll be trapped in that place forever, but she doesn't mind as long as she's with her only family. That's really sweet and wholesome. And funnily enough, it reminds me of a concept I saw of Monster 6 with Mono. Because there was a concept early on, I think, in development where Monster 6 is actually holding Mono's hand and being guided through the signal tower. I actually think it's in the art book here. Let me just see if I can find it real fast. There, that one. Oh, was it this one? No, it wasn't this one, but it was similar to that, where she's like... I don't know if it was fan drawn or if it was in the art book, but there was a particular... There. This one. I don't know if you guys can see, but right there. Here, you can see Monster 6 being accompanied by what we can assume is the character that became Mono. So Monster 6 was clearly like an idea for early development, that before like Mono was even a fully realized character. But yeah, that's what your idea reminds me of there. So like this would be Jules and this would be Evie in your concept, and they would be, obviously they'd look different, and it would be your own character concepts and things like that. But this wasn't really explored because they like immediately, she got immediately hostile after we attacked the music box, right? But it could be fun to explore and really wholesome. Somniphobia, fear of dreams or sleeping, would be interesting to see how one would respond to the nightmare world of the nowhere. Could also be applied to most visitors. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, a fear of sleeping, that's a really weird one, isn't it? I feel like that could be an actual really nice, like if you could get a monster that would personify somniphobia, so like something with like no eyelids, or maybe his eyelids are held open, like, you know, in a really cartoon-esque way. I'm looking for a toothpick. I don't have one. But yeah, like toothpicks on the eyes in like a weird like old school 90s cartoon aesthetic, whereas like his eyes are held open by some kind of apparatus to prevent him from sleeping. Like maybe he's got like a constant like shake, like a constant caffeine shake or something like that. That would be a cool concept. Absolutely. Am I the only one who thinks the mall from Sounds of Nightmares might be in Little Nightmares 3? No, I don't think you are. I think the mall is a very valuable asset to explore. you'll see why before long. I don't think we're getting any other Sounds of Nightmares locations. Yeah, maybe not. I think because obviously we're getting the carnival, the circus, and with that being the episode that Supermassive themselves contributed to, it stands to reason that they are the same circus, the same carnival that we explore. Better late than never, Nikki. Absolutely. Hey guys and girls, how you doing? Nikki Gibbs, I hope you're doing okay. Also, xanthophobia, the fear of the colour yellow, it's a thing. It is actually a thing, yeah, there's a fear of everything. Xanthophobia is actually a thing. Yeah, and so if someone doesn't meet 6... Imagine if Mono had it, and when he's seen her true colours, he just freaks out and runs away. Hi! Oh, that would be hilarious. Hi! Hi! So I don't really see why they would shoehorn another in aside from the threshold and possibly the county. Yeah, exactly, because there's already quite a few areas to explore, and if we do get a new one, it will probably be one that we have absolutely no idea about, so it'll completely catch us off guard. Gemini, did you see the new teaser for the Overman Sounds and Nightmares animated episode 2? Yes, I did. I actually heard the Overman talk about it and say that it's in production, and I'm very excited to see it. I did watch the teaser for it, and it looks brilliant. And I'm waiting to obviously. I was about to say I'm reserving judgment until I see the full video. But there is no judgment to be had. He's an incredible creator, fantastic. The Overman is extremely talented, far more talented than I could ever hope to be. And the work that the Overman has done on that series is second to none. I'm very, very excited to see it. But yeah, we've only seen the trailer concept so far. But if it's anything even remotely close to the first one, it will be star-studded. How about a scary or abandoned gaming arcade with VR gaming machines that entrap unsuspecting victims in their stories, monitored by ever techno-man, half humanoid, half robot? Catsy, stop! Immediately stop talking. Now! Because you're reading my mind. Oh, I'll tell you what time do I finish? I finish this stream in like 25 minutes and you're going to get a message. Get out of my head. These ideas are really good, by the way. I'm not telling you to stop talking because these ideas are bad. I'm telling you to stop talking because these ideas are so good that I've already used them. Kinda. And I'll expand on it, especially for you. You'll get to see why. Again, I don't want to go too much into it because there's going to be a lot of spoilers involved in a project that I'm working on, but it's something that, because it's not fully realised yet, I don't feel like I can say, this is my idea. So it's not fair for me to say, no, you don't get that idea, because obviously we're all contributing to this, but a completely separate project that I've been working on for the better part of a year includes a lot of the concepts that you're talking about. And it shows how in tune with this universe you are. And it speaks to your character and your understanding of the nowhere. It's you and the tism. That's what it is. You're using the tism to read my mind. But yeah, you will get a message, and I'm not mad. I know I sound like I'm mad, and I'm not. I'm excited. This is excited, Gemini. Someone made an animation of that. It's here on YouTube, but I can't remember the exact title of the video. How about like a ballet school? It's kind of weird, but maybe ballet teachers are very strict. Yes, absolutely, Navarro. That's definitely a thing. So ballet is actually one of the most difficult disciplines to learn. It's incredibly hard, and I've seen some of the people who train ballet and take it seriously, like professional ballet dancers, go through some of the most torturous workout regimes I've ever seen in my entire life. It is absolutely unbelievable. It's almost military, the way they train. It's ludicrous, and a ballet teacher could definitely be one of the most frightening concepts. And I don't know what the animation is that Alan is talking about. It might be I don't know if this is the one, but it could be the Last Dance. Save the Last Dance, or the Waltz of the Damned animation. That was one of the best I've ever seen as well. Absolutely incredible. It actually got over 1 million views, and they were well deserved as well, by Little Wolf Studios it was, who I've had the pleasure of talking to just once, but it was
I would absolutely love to do some work with Little Wolf Studios in the future on like an animated thing like that, because that was some of the best Little Nightmares animation I've ever seen in my entire life. It was ridiculous. Like, Little Wolf Studios could absolutely make a movie out of Little Nightmares, and it would be done in the style that we'd all respect. There could be a zoo chapter with animals to distract or hide from some sort of zookeeper. Yeah, absolutely. They definitely could. The only reason I'm not going to copy that one down is because I know that concept has been explored by GamerJube before. If you guys don't know, I'm just going to bring it up on my screen right now so you can see. So if I go to YouTube and I type in GamerJube, I'll type in GamerJube Zookeeper. There he is. So they did this 4 years ago. So when they did What Needs to Be in Little Nightmares, they create like there is an entire playlist with these, and they do this for all sorts of different things as well. So you should absolutely check out GamerJube. They're extremely talented and they come up with some brilliant concepts. And this gentleman right here, I believe his name is Nick. He's the artist for all of these characters as well. He like conceptualizes them, designs them, and then I think he animates all the videos himself as well. Which it's Nick, and he's brilliant. And some of his designs, like, look, get a load of this thing. That's absolutely great. So yeah, the only reason I'm not copying down that idea, because I do think it's great. It's so good, in fact, that it's been done. That's all. That's the only reason. We want to try and create something entirely new. And that's difficult, I know, because finding something that hasn't been done yet is really difficult. As is evident by, like, Catsy. Catsy and I have come up with some of the same ideas in this stream. Right here in real time, that's been done, because again, there's it's limited. We're all limited. Where am I now? Let me scroll down a little bit. Step. I won't be able to stay for long because I'm watching Eurovisions for now. Absolutely fine, no worries, Step. It's really good to see you here either way. Funfair mentioned again. Exactly. Also, Gem, another concept I have is an old man with a wooden cart who carries around the children he captures when he ships them straight to the mall. What do you guys think? You know what? That's actually cool, because there is a concept from a movie that I watched ages ago. It reminds me of, you know, what's the name of them people? Dog catcher. So there is I don't know if it's still a job now, but back in the day there used to be a person who was like a dog warden, whose job was to go around and catch stray dogs. And I've seen the concept made in movies and things like that before, like Lady and the Tramp, and things like to use like a popular one. There's been a couple of ideas where there's a dog catcher, but there was something like that with children as well. I can't remember if it was a thing, but he would catch. There was a guy whose job it was to like go around and capture like street children, like orphans and things like that, and take them to like workhouses. I think I seen a concept like it done in like in like Oliver Twist, you know, old movies like that, where like children on the street were actually very, very common. They're not these days, obviously, at least not in the West, but well, not in the richer parts of the West. Not that I know anything about anything that goes on in the world, but it used to be a thing where there was actually a guy, and I can't remember the name of it, but that could actually be a thing. 1 second, let me just see if it's, let me try and Google it. Person who collects orphan children. It's a weird thing to Google, but no, it's not the adopter. It's not the. Like, this is going to be some of the weirdest Google searches I've ever done. Oh, steal. I didn't mean to write steal. I mean to write street. Street children. Nah, I can't remember. There was a concept for this character, and he was like a villain in a movie or something. There was a special name for him, and I cannot remember for the life of me what it was actually called. But there is a concept. Anyway, I like that idea because it would be like a person who, you know, you would have to navigate, like you're walking around the Pale City or like a residential area of some description, but you would have to watch out for this guy with his cart. And he would just, like, you know, if he gets older, he'd pick you up, he'd put you in it, and then he would ship you off to somewhere that's a workhouse, like the Moor, for instance, like you just alluded to right there. So I like that. Where is it? There, Alan. I'm going to copy that into here, Alan, because I do like that, and I would like to expand on it a little bit more, but my brain isn't braining at the moment, and I can't think of the name of that actual person. Like, there's a name for that villain. I just can't remember what it is. Something like the Turnkey or something like that. I don't know. What if we come up with a creepy public swimming pool setting with disgusting water slime, aquatic plants all over the floor, maintained by a lifeguard who loves to drown rule breakers? That would be a cool concept for another water-based enemy, actually, Catsy. I like that a lot. Having a water-based enemy would be pretty dope. Oh. I know we've already had the Granny as a water-based enemy, but I feel like having more water-based enemies would be a cool thing. In fact, GamerTube came up with one called the Diver before, and that was really cool. That was like a recurring enemy, actually. We'll probably be able to find a picture of that too. GamerTube Diver. Yeah, right there. The Diver and the Diver Returns. Because it was like a mutating enemy that I think was really cool. Someone actually made a 3D model of it as well once. And that was pretty dope. Here we go. I just joined. Are we just sharing ideas for new little nightmares? Yes, James, absolutely. And I'm so sorry it took me so long to get to your comment. I'm trying to read as many as I can and take some of the ideas on board. Because not only are we coming up with these ideas and brainstorming together, but I am gonna like try and bring them to life in an upcoming video. I'm gonna try and like get like some of these concepts and make them into like a fully fledged story that you guys can enjoy and see visualized and know that you contributed to. So if you have any ideas, James, for any like visitors, any puzzles, any environments, any residents, like monster ideas and things like that, please feel free to just brainstorm away. Because if I see something that I like and that resonates with me, not only will I expand on it and discuss it here with everyone who's in chat, but I'll also go on to maybe utilize that idea in the future in an upcoming video. And of course, you will be credited for your contribution here and now. Yeah, swimming pool in the nowhere. Like, I imagine a swimming pool in the nowhere, you wouldn't be able to see the bottom. Like it would, like, you know, in the swimming pool, you generally, when you jump into a swimming pool, you have tiles and you have like visuals painted on the tiles on the bottom of the pool, so you can see how deep it is and where it goes and where you're supposed to be going. I imagine pools in the nowhere won't have that. I think they'll be like the back rooms, like I think a pool. I imagine a pool in the nowhere would look like a liminal space. In fact, I'm going to see if that concept exists. Look at this. If we type in liminal spaces swimming pool, and then take a look at this. Yeah, like that. Kind of like just off. You know, the colours are all kind of muted and strange. So even though it looks like it should be a very colourful, child-friendly, playful environment, just everything about the concept is off. It's skewiff, isn't it? It's off-kinder. And like these, some of them are quite pretty and others are just weird. Like that. Where the fuck does that go? Like, well, that's hideous and terrifying. That's how I imagine. Like, you know, obviously, if I imagine it in the nowhere, I imagine it a lot dirtier, much more like Katsy has just described. So kind of like filthy and like this, but maybe with a bit more moss and overgrowth. You know, because it won't be kept very clean, I imagine. And then if there's a lifeguard character, he could be like seldom seen because he's in the water most of the time. Something like that. Or this. Like this is a very nowhere kind of concept. Here, art station. Like this. Look at that horror show. And you think, oh, it's an indoor swimming pool, but it's just so nowhere. Cool. But yeah, that's the kind of thing I imagine with what you said there, Katsy. I think this is the comics Jim's working on. it's so some of the things that I've discovered will allude to those, and I will expand on them in the future because I do have some finished concepts for those comics now, because I'm hoping to release a comic series before the end of this year. Well, not a series, but at least a pilot, so that you guys can see it and read it and enjoy it and see what I'm talking about. Just GKS has a concept. Another concept is for a florist/witch, which would use her own backbone as a magical staff and have very plant-textured skin with bloodshot floral eyes with dried-out flowers for eye covers. Ooh, that's eerie. And another idea of having like nature blending with the character and sort of using their environment to shape them, I think is really, really cool. I like that a lot also. Where is my project page? GKS's contribution right there. Oh, I forgot to include the name like a moron. GKS. Obviously, if I do overlook any of these names or anything like that in the future, you will still be credited because I am still going to use this video as a point of reference if I utilize any of your specific ideas in future projects. Asfera-chan, what's up? How you doing? Welcome to the stream. Yeah, definitely. No, that heaven. So yeah, Katsy, heaven means that it's good because it's bad. That's the thing. If you think of a place in the nowhere and you hate it, that's good. That's good. Like if I try to imagine a school in the nowhere, I hate it. It makes me really uncomfortable, and that's why it's my favorite area in the game. The same as if you imagine a villain in a movie or a video game. If you imagine a villain like Professor Umbridge from Harry Potter, for instance, or like you hate her. She's horrible. She's the worst thing on earth, isn't she? She's disgusting. She's cruel. She's mean. She's awful, and that's what makes her a brilliant villain, because you hate that character. You're supposed to hate the villain. She has the desired effect. So if you imagine a concept of an area in the nowhere and you think, oh my god, that's awful, it makes me feel uncomfortable and cringy, it's gross and awful, that's good, because that's what you want. It's supposed to give you that sense of unease. It's meant to be unsettling, and that's good. It was meant as a compliment, I'm sure. Thank you so much. Quite fantastical. It's quite a good comparison. Yeah. Sorry, Asfera-chan, I'm sorry if I was late to saying hello to you as well, by the way, but hi. Gemini, I never asked, but what did you think of the second trailer of Weapons? It's actually terrifying, gives me smile. Yeah, I get smile vibes. Now, Steph, something that I will say is that I liked the first trailer a lot better. The second trailer was great, don't get me wrong. Still going to watch the movie. It still looks excellent. I really like the concept. But what I loved most about the first trailer was the mystery. How eerie and surreal it seemed. Like it didn't give you any answers. It was just all questions. It was curious. The second trailer went on to expand on the lore almost too much. Like it gave a little bit too much away. I thought it didn't ruin the concept or anything, don't get me wrong, I'm still liking the idea, but I much preferred the first trailer because to me less is more, and I think a lot of you guys will agree with that when it comes to concepts like Little Nightmares and the Nowhere. The reason we're so like enthusiastic about it and why we find it so atmospheric and so such an immersive universe to be a part of is because it prevents us from understanding it from every conceivable angle, and that's what we love, because it gives us the freedom to play with it and manipulate it and bring it life in our own way, create our worst nightmares from the fear of the unknown. And that's exactly what we're doing right here and now together, in fact. And Weapons did that so well by just giving you a bunch of questions and not answering any of them, and just making it so eerie. The second trailer, I feel like, answered a little bit too much. Not like it didn't ruin it. I'm not saying, I hated the second trailer. But if I was to compare the two of them, if I'd have seen the second trailer first, I wouldn't be half as interested as I am. But the first trailer was magnificent. An absolute work of art. My Little Nightmares OC is a self-insert. He is a visitor, but he's super powerful and he can beat up any resident and he beats the game automatically and he's super cool and he's better than anyone else. It's basically just IRL me because I'm awesome and stuff. I mean, fair enough. It's your headcanon, Tomato Man, and if that's how you feel and if that's how your OC is, I suppose we all just better get used to being under your control. After beating the true boss, the streamer regains consciousness and gives out a line sitting in a groans like, comment, comment, subscribe. Yeah, yeah, he's literally just sitting there going, like, comment, subscribe. Hi. Can you guess who the true boss is? It's me. Hey Gemini, sorry for repeating the question, but what do you think about the side story I wrote for my Sounds of Night? Excellent. I really like the fact that you... for those of you guys that don't know, Faceless Art will often send me concepts that she creates, usually artwork, but she recently wrote like a short Sounds of Nightmares episode, like a concept that she invented herself, and she sent it to me for me to read, which I did, and I thought it was great. And the thing I liked the most was your descriptive terminology. The way you break it down and explain the environment works so well with the Sounds of Nightmares, because like when it comes to your art, you capture the aesthetic really well, and it's good because you have a visual aid. The difficulty we have with the Sounds of Nightmares being entirely an audio fiction series is that you don't have that visual aid, so you have to create the image in your mind, and you do a really good job of doing that and alluding to it with your words. I think it was really well written. I think it could do with some refinement here and there, as because most of my work, but the actual concept itself is great. If anything, I feel like it should be longer. I think you should expand on it even more. And I'm sure you're going to, because the tism. So you're going to want to expand on the lore and break it down and make it make sense to you, because it's your concept, it's your idea. And I feel like nobody will understand it on the level that you do. So if you do decide to rewrite it or refine it in any way or expand on it in any way, I would absolutely love to see that as well. I love the Overman. Yeah, I do as well. Overman is incredible. Absolutely ludicrous creator. Phenomenal. Talented on a whole other level. Imagine a monster based on Iraq. Oh, I can't read that one. Arachibutyrophobia. Arachibutyrophobia. That was a tough one. The fear of peanut butter sticking to the roof of your mouth. Well, that's grim. Also, why? Oh, I'm in Gemini's head. Please don't. Yes, you absolutely can draw these, Katsy. I'd be more than happy for you to draw some of these concepts. I would love to see like how an artist would actually conceptualize them, because as much as I love bringing these ideas to life, I am not an artist. I'm just not. In fact, I'll show you. I'll prove it. I'll prove it right now real fast, because some of my artwork is in here. So I'm gonna try and find it for you. I don't label any of these, so I have to scroll. So you guys who have seen episode 4 of my Little Nightmares, so this right here is my concept for the Fireman from chapter 4 of my Little Nightmares 2 speculative DLC, and this is one of the main villains in that story. And he is my idea, he's my concept. I created this idea, but I did not draw this picture. This picture was drawn for me by my artist, who is a lady from Thailand named Propimol, who is a ludicrous Little Nightmares artist. I'm sure you all know who she is, because she's almost synonymous with Little Nightmares art. If you Google Little Nightmares art, you'll get hers. You just will, by default, because it's the best. As is evident here. Look at this thing. Look how good that looks. But yeah, and this concept for the Fireman was created by me, but I didn't draw that picture, like I said. The same with this one, the nurse. The nurse was another concept entirely designed by me, but drawn by her, because when I initially sent her my versions of these, they didn't look like this. Like that. There's my version. You're not allowed to laugh. Stop laughing at my character concept. Stop laughing at my art. But just as a little contrast and compare. this is why I don't do the artwork for these designs, because that's my one, like that. So I said, this is what I want the character to look like, and I drew this fireman, and I sent it to Propimol, and I was like, I want this, you know, this is my character design, but I need you to draw it so that it actually looks like a Little Nightmares concept. So she did, and she created this. So you can see it is my design, it was my idea, I came up with the whole thing, but I cannot draw them. And if I did, and I put them on the internet, people would laugh. Like, I know you are, and I see you laughing! I can hear you! Stop! You're hurting my feelings! I'm joking, I don't have feelings. But you can see why I am not an artist. And I love drawing them, don't get me wrong. I love designing them and drawing these and things like that. I love coming up with these character concepts and ideas, but I'm not good at putting pen to paper and making them, like bringing them to life like Propimol has here, and like Catsy does, and like other people do in the chat, like Faceless Art, for instance, and GKS. I know a lot of you guys are artists, and all of you are extremely talented. The Overman as well is another fantastic example. But yeah, as you can see, like these ideas that were drawn by me, they just don't measure up. And as hard as I worked on them, they're just not up to standard. But when Propimol draws them and when you guys draw them, it makes me happy, because I get to see how my imagination looks if I could actually put pen to paper and make it look like I wanted it to look like. If it looked as good as I imagined it in my head. Like there you go. As the initial face. This face, that face inspired this entire design. Because I found this face in the art book, and I thought that would make an awesome monster concept. I wonder why they didn't use it. So I used it. Anyway, back to the chat. I'm also going to take my art off the screen because you guys won't be able to concentrate if you're still laughing at me. Leave my guy alone, right? I'm really proud of the fireman. I think he turned out really well. Anyway, guys, I am really running out of time, so forgive me, I'm going to scroll like pretty much to the bottom of this chat and just read off a couple of last ones. Cypher Animate, I am really sorry that I wasn't able to get your comments and read them thoroughly. I would really like to. I will be coming back to these, but I sadly have a work call that I have to be on in the next 7 minutes, so I'm going to have to call this stream here, guys. It's been absolutely amazing. Will you do a Little Nightmares fan made DLC with Alone like how you did Law? Maybe I will. Maybe I will. It sucks not being an artist in a Little Nightmares fandom because everyone else is so talented. Yeah, I know, right? This is the thing. Is like, while people think that I am like a... They don't think this, but, you know, some people look up to me and my work and they appreciate it and they think I'm some kind of pseudo-authority, like I create Little Nightmares content and it's essentially canon. And it's not. I have the help of the community. I have an incredibly talented team of people that work with me on these concepts, Propimol being a prime example of that. So it does make me sad that I can't do it, but it does also allow me to bring work and prosperity to the people who are capable of it. So when it comes to future concepts, when I'm working on like animations or artwork or music videos or video games, I'm also, you know, I get to work with all of these people who are extremely talented and then pay them for their work. So it's not a massive loss. It sucks that I can't do it all myself. I'd love to be a one-man band and, you know, hyper talented like the Overman is and create these concepts all straight off my own credits and my own merits and such. But sadly I can't. But the good thing is it allows me to interact with the talented folks within the community like your good selves. So thank you guys so much for attending this live stream. It has been a world of fun. There's absolutely tons. I just missed yours. James, I'm so sorry, my brother. Let me just really quickly. Always had this idea for a science teacher who is able to easily and without pain cut off and open up his body, like when you first meet him, he's opening up his stomach, showing the bullies as they were. Yeah, like a science, like a biology teacher. Still has to cut off his arm and control it like in the hospital. Yeah, so he could, like, if you get into a vent and he can't chase you, he could remove his own arm and then send it in there after you or something like that. Yeah, got you. At one point he could be chasing you and just get to a vent. That's weird. I just said that. I didn't even read it. But yeah, exactly. This is another example of great minds thinking alike. Yeah, James, absolutely loves the idea. I am going to copy it into the thing because it is brilliant and I wouldn't want you to feel left out. I don't want anyone to feel left out in these streams because they are community streams after all. But I am absolutely out of time. I'm so sorry if I've missed you. I've just closed chat like an absolute rookie. Anyway, so my issue again, just in case you missed it, Van Osdelgaya, please go ahead. In fact, I'll scroll up and see if I can see it. Because there is a good chance I did miss it. You'll have seen my chat. If I don't get to it right now, please feel free to leave it in a comment for me in a different one of my videos, because I read all of my comments, and I will try and show you the respect you deserve. I'm not seeing it here though, Gaia. I'm really sorry. I didn't like this comment. I'm sure I like this comment. Either way. Right, so yeah, Van Osdelgaya, I'm really sorry I wasn't able to get your comment in time. It's been a lot of fun in this stream. If I've missed any of your comments, I am deeply and genuinely sorry. Feel free to put them in my other videos. Leave them in the comment section because, like I said, I do read them all. And I absolutely want to address them and let you all be a part of this. The whole idea of the stream is to, like, bring the community together and enjoy it like that. I'm sadly out of time right now, so I do have to go. But thank you all so much for your contributions. I will be holding another live stream this month, and next month is my birthday. So there's going to be something special coming up for that, no doubt. But for now, I'm going to have to say goodbye. So thank you again for your contributions and all your generous donations. I hugely appreciate each and every one of you. But that's going to do it for now. So until next time, that's game over. Bye.